best of tracks, but we'll get you through it. I'm joined by Peter. How are we doing tonight, Peter?
Good evening. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. What about you guys?
Yeah, doing great. As you can see, we posted the results from last week on the Facebook page, and Lee Nell was driver of the day. So we're joined by Lee to give us his thoughts on tonight's race. So, how are you going to take tonight's race, Lee?
I'm going to struggle with this one, I think. It's an easy one to start, but it's not my track.
So, have you been kind of on the up with your results? Because last season you kind of struggled, but you still got the results because obviously you got a Constructors' Championship. But this season you seem to be quite up there with the top runners come the end of the race.
Bahrain and China are probably my favourite tracks, so well there.
So is it just about for tonight?
I don't know what the result's going to be.
Is it just about trying to get through the race first?
Yeah, it is really.
Okay, and do you consider yourself a title challenger for this season?
This year, no, not with all quick drivers in.
Are you going to still try and challenge the constructors?
Yeah, that's main focus.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's a good shot. I suppose next season when there's two divisions it'll be a lot easier, but for now you're doing a cracking job and driver of the day last week, so good luck tonight, Lee, and we'll let you go and get prepared for tonight's race.
Yeah, good luck.
Alright mate, take care. So yeah, Russia, not everyone's favourite track. Your thoughts on the track, Peter?
Well, there are a lot of 90 degree corners, so it can take you to to the next level, I should say, because the tire degradation is not that high, but it's pretty hard to get this track right because of the stringency of the corner cutting, and also it's like for me it's not one of my favorite tracks because the rain can bother you, and yeah, it's just, well, yeah, it's Russia. Like, I'm not against Russia, but this track is not the best.
Yeah, I get what you mean. You come up to some corners and you actually can't see the turn of the corner because of the line markings, the sunlight reflecting on the track. So it's quite hard to get that lap together and not exceed the track limits.
Yeah, because yeah, it's so important to do the slow in, fast out, because it can give you a lot of advantage, even on one lap and also in the race, because yeah, it's important to get better exit out of 90 degree corners.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got a new driver joining tonight. I've heard a lot of talk in the background that he's meant to be quite quick. So that is Cliffy, and he's the Mercedes AMG driver. So he comes into a decent car as well. Have you ever heard this driver before and know anything about him, Peter?
Well, unfortunately I haven't, but yeah, I wait for a surprise, and I expect him to do well. And also, finally, Honey Badger. I heard that he's pretty quick around this track too, so I really want him to get a trouble-free race and show us what he's capable of.
Yeah, he's not had the best of luck to his Speed Force Racing careers. He seems to always have a little incident, not always of his own doing, and it results in having an upheaval in the race, but he sometimes manages to get through it and get some decent points. So
Yeah,
we're just going
definitely.
to wait for the clock to strike at past, but we'll go through the tables at the moment. So in the Premier Division, the results after round 3 is Fletcher Boy is leading the championship with 61 points. Then you got Noak on 50, Techno Thrillers 33 points, Humbug on 32. Last week's driver of the day was Lee Nell, and he's on 30 points. So from the table, it looks like it's back to business for the top runners from last season, Fletcher Boy, Noak and Techno. But it's also good to see Humbug and Lee Nell putting in an early charge.
Yeah, Humbug had a really bad race in China and also in Australia, the season opener. So he's doing quite a good job to maintain the top runners despite his bad races. And yeah, he earned driver of the day after the first race. So he's doing quite a good job. And also Lee, I think he found something he was missing last season.
What do you reckon that is? Like maybe a bit of consistency?
Well, yeah, first of all, I think he's a bit quicker than last season. Maybe it's just practice or I don't know. And yeah, he's more consistent. They were consistent as a team with Josh last season because they won the constructors, but they are both very, very consistent now. I think they were on the podium, both of them, 2 out of 3 times.
Yeah, which is, it just shows, because as we talked about last season, Josh was massively improved, but as you've just mentioned, Lee now is also hot on the heels of Josh and showing him that he can hold up his end of the bargain as well in terms of the approach for the second championship.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So we will be setting off in about 10 seconds time, so we'll just go through the team championship standings. So 9 Inch Males, brilliant name, is on 91 points. English Racing is 52. If I've got that wrong, Jonas will come down on me. Too Fast For You is on 50 points. The Tomato is on 43. And Battling Badgers is on 22 points. They're the top 5 of the constructors, which is pretty close considering last season it weren't as close as it was early on in the season. So just shows you that some of the teams have got a really good, strong team lineup. So they're going to put up a decent challenge this season to try and wrestle that title off of Josh and Lee. So we are.
Yeah, definitely.
Everyone is ready and up. So it should be a good race. 19 on the grid, which is brilliant.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think it's the highest this season.
Yeah, definitely.
So far.
I think it's going the right way, especially considering the game is on the end stage of its phase. It's going quite well.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Yeah. So, my first question is: do you expect to see a dry or a wet race?
I think we'll get a wet quali, dry race.
Wet
What about
quali,
you?
dry race. Yeah. Yeah, we had a dry quali and a wet race, I believe, last season.
And I raced in that as you did, and it was horrendous.
Yeah, it was. But it was fun. So, yeah, I really expect to see a dry race. Now,
Yeah, it would be good. I just want a whole dry quali, dry race, and let a good clean exit of turn 1 for all the drivers and a good race, and see what some of the drivers that had incidents previously can do.
Yes, and we'll find out in any minute now.
So
But
19
I
on the
think-
grid should be good race.
Yeah, definitely, and if Techno can race, like he had some sort of issues last week, which was pretty unfortunate for him. And it's quite dark, but it's not raining at the moment, so maybe there will be droplets of rain.
I expect if it is, it's a bit overcast, so there could be some rain later on in the session. So I expect my drivers to probably get out and get an early lap in.
Yeah, and it's important to get a good lap in, because if it will rain, because the track will get a lot worse in second.
So tyre deg around the track is super low, so looks like these drivers probably just be doing the one stop, and the Ultra should go pretty far in the race. I think last race the tyre was super low in the run, wasn't it?
Sorry?
The tyre deg last year was super low no matter what tyre it was on.
Yeah, the tire deck was pretty low, and I expect the supers, or no, not the supers, the ultras to go to like lap 11, but they can go to like lap 15 as well. So I think it's a clean one stop, so the strategy is not really coming into play. So you have to do your overtaking on the track.
So we've got Noak and Cliffy, both fast drivers in the Mercedes, so that's going to be a team that's going to be on the hunt in the constructors. But who's going to be your pick for pole position?
For now, I think SFR Josh Fletcher will get pole position.
Okay, there's a lot of talent, so I'm going to Cliffy. New guy, I think I'll go with him. I've heard a lot about him.
So you say Cliffy?
I'm going to go with Cliffy, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll find out.
So we on the screens at the moment is Noak, and he's on the ultra soft tyres, and he's coming to the end of his warm up lap. He's going to start going and attack the track. Full pelt's got a bit of traffic in front of him, also on their time lapse. So he's going to have to be a bit wary of that. So let's see what the Mercedes driver can do. Noak extremely fast no matter what track he goes to. Josh Fletcher has been getting the at recent tracks, so that's what he can do. Go through for turn 1, heavy braking. Let's see if we can keep it nice and tidy. Great exit on the corner.
Yeah, you can see he's turning straight into the corner, not going out. To go the long way around, because you can find a lot of time by going straight into the corner. I'm talking about the long left-hander.
So his teammate Cliffy is also on an outlap, as is most of the drivers. So it's going to be busy on track, so hopefully these drivers can find a bit of space, but there's a lot of traffic on track, and Noak is coming up to a bit of traffic at the moment. There's a yellow in sector 1 and sector 2.
Maybe someone just pulled over. Yeah, Smelly Badger just pulled over. I think it's just for let the drivers go through.
So Noak going into the tricky last sector, a lot of 90-degree corners, and it's quite easy to get the time around here, but you can lose so much time, so it's just about keeping it nice and consistent.
Yeah, and so far it's a pretty clean lap, but he's coming into the pits actually. And Honey Badger with a nice lap time of 1:33.6. I expect the drivers to get down to like 1:33.3 to 2.
It's surprising that only 2 drivers have gone against the grain and have chosen different compounds. You've got blood and sand tyres, gaming things on the soft. So with it being such a low tyre deg track, do you think the soft tyres are maybe a bit of a mistake to start the race on?
It can be a mistake, but yeah, if you start on the soft tires, then you have like all of the tire compounds to select from, and if it goes to like lap 19 or 18, you can put on a set of ultra soft tires, and yeah, let's put it, Gamey thinks he's not fighting for the race win tonight, in my opinion. So he can get solid points.
It's interesting to see that SFR Josh Fletcher is about 0.4 of a second behind Honey Badger's provisional lap time. So let's see if Josh may have been outdone by the better man, or he's just encountered a bit of traffic.
I think it was just a banker.
Okay, I've got you. So
but,
it does make sense with the track as it is, so much traffic, and Cliffy also pulling out of a lap there. So it looks like drivers are not getting the first lap down.
I don't know why Josh is continuing on. Oh, that's why.
There we go. So
Okay.
Lap time SFR Josh Fletcher back to the 1:33.5.
That was a second lap in a row.
Do you think that's where the tyres are? They need an extra lap.
They can hold on to an extra lap, but the thing is that maybe he will run out of fuel coming into the pits on his in lap, and I'm just looking at things now. Cliffy is on a flying lap, or maybe not, but Noak will have the one run, so a one and done lap, and it will put him where it will put him. So he put himself into, I think, into a hard position.
Current on board with AB. It looks previous laps. It's going to be tricky. Pit and tyres change. He's nearly gone into the wall. He's going to pit and get them tyres off. Here we go. If Cliffy is on a proper lap yet, he did his out lap, aborted his first timed lap, and seems to be going well on his proper time. 1:07, going out of sector 2, so he's going into the tricky sector 3 now. He's going to try and keep it nice and tidy to get the maximum time.
Yeah, Novak is on a timed lap as well. And also Techno with a 1:33.5.
So Techno is trying to close the gap to Josh, so it just shows you, but Cliffy's going into the pit again. So it's quite an odd decision that Cliffy's maybe just getting a feel for the track.
Well, maybe he cut the corner somewhere.
Yeah, that is very possible.
Novak is pushing like a madman now, because I think that's his only chance.
Yeah, particularly an effort to try and get this car round. Touch of understeer on a few corners, so let's see at the last couple of corners. Very tight.
It's a good lap, but will it be good enough for pole position? No. Yes, it is. It's a provisional.
457, so Novak putting in the lap time again, so it's going to put everyone else on the back foot, and they have to get that lap time in going into the last.
Yeah, but it's only a provisional pole lap, and Novak won't have more rounds.
So we've got Mays, a really promising driver. He's going to start his first and probably final timed lap. Peter, if you'd like to talk us through his first time lap of the session.
Yeah, of course. So he's going around corner number 2, and he made a huge mistake into that corner. So that won't help him. Now he's going around the long left-hander, followed by a very, very hard right-hander. Hard braking zone, shifting back down to 5th or maybe even 4th gear. Now here comes the tricky part of the section of the track. You can easily run wide and ruin your whole lap by cutting a corner or running wide. Now he's going up to the first DRS, maybe actually it's a second DRS zone, and he might get a bit of traffic in front of him, and yeah, that's a big problem if you're only doing the one lap, yeah. But Racing would get out of his way, and it was another pretty bad braking zone for him. I think he locked up. It's not the cleanest laps so far, and Josh retired, so he couldn't make pole position. And now coming out of the final corner, I think it.
But maybe he's just trying to. I don't know if one side of the circuit's going to give you better traction, but usually it's the pole position, which is the racing line, so it's unusual for Josh.
And yeah. But I'm pretty excited to see Honey Badger and Techno now, because we can have a third poleman. Because so far the pole positions has been separated by these two drivers. So now last year's champion Techno.
Honey Badger is starting his lap now. So this is his last chance to try and get him up from provisional 4th. He's going to try and Noah and Josh retire a little bit too early from the session. To see what Honey Badger, Techno, Humbug and of course Chopper And also Cliffy can see if they can try and remove Noak from provisional
Yeah.
pole.
Cliffy needs a lap in. He's last.
Honey Badger is
So far.
doing he's sticking to the track nicely. Sector 1 lap time
Yeah.
of 33.91 seconds.
It's better than Novak's.
So we will stick with
So,
Honey
yeah.
Badger. We'll ride on board with him. This could be the lap that
I
removes
think-
Noak.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's what happened, yeah. He cut the corner, or ran wide actually. So now, I think Techno and maybe Cliffy are the only drivers who can improve. 34-0, a little bit down on Novak.
So, Cliffy's pitting, is he? No, I'm just looking at a mysterious line on the game. Here we go. So Cliffy, Blood and Sand are the only two drivers not to set a
Yeah,
lap time.
Techno made a mistake as well, so Cliffy is the only one, and Blood and Sand.
Oh, Cliffy's got a bit of
Cliffy's-
traffic there.
That's not a good enough time.
Let's see where
Well,
he
not
can
bad.
get. He
Not
might
bad.
get to the top 8. Let's see
Not
what he can
bad.
do.
Oh,
He goes pole.
actually,
There we go.
Actually, I thought he lifted off and he just gave up on it, but no,
And it
he went
looks
into
like
pole position.
Blood and Sand didn't cross the line in time. Get a lap time.
Yes. So nice job, Cliffy. That's what you were talking about.
Yeah, it's been talked about that he has got the pace. So Cliffy with his in his first race, first pole position. So Cliffy first, Noak second, SFR Josh Fletcher third, Techno started fourth, Honey Badger fifth, SFR Chop at sixth, Humbug seventh, TJ Honest eighth, ninth is Peds, 10th is SFR Lee Nell, Maze is 11th, Gamey Things 12th, 13th is Smelly Badger, 14th Lord JB, 15th BDS Jade Rios, Uzi is 16th, Racing Punch 17th, 18th is S-Grain Blood and Sand is going to start the race dead last in 19th, but is a long run to turn 1, so it could turn up to be a great little thing starting at the back for Blood and Sand. It's let's see what the Carnage turn 1 will be like.
Yeah, and I really thought Cliffy just lifted off and gonna pull over because that was traffic in front of him. But no, he didn't, and actually he put it onto pole. And yeah, also my timer was saying like his lap is like 5 seconds down on Novak, so that's why I thought he's not going to get a lap time in.
You gotta love Codemasters trying to keep you on your toes, providing a below par game once again.
But yeah, it made it exciting because actually he put it on pole.
So we're going to go and do question of the day again. So, what year did the first Russian driver enter an F1 race? So if you know what it is, leave a comment on the YouTube channel and we will ask Peter mid-race to see what he can think of.
Okay, that's a hard question.
So we are waiting for the countdown to go to the race session. So we're going to have the formation lap. It is a 5.84 km long track at 19 turns, and track limits will be a huge issue for drivers trying to push each other all over the track. So let's see if we can keep the penalties down to a bare minimum, and then it's chucking it down.
Oh yes, that's what I'm talking about.
There we go. So it's going to be
Awesome.
an interesting first lap. It will be quite interesting to see if any of the drivers will be able to survive.
Yeah, and just a quick question about the Grand Prix behind us last week, Bahrain Formula One, the real life Formula One. What are your thoughts on the Ferrari pit crew? And yeah, Francesco suffered double leg break.
I think in a sport where they're trying to be perfect, they have to be perfect at the pit stops, and obviously their fail-safe failed as the green light went on. So a lot of questions need to be asked about that, because it put someone's life in danger and give him quite horrific injuries.
Yeah, and also it's yeah, it's not about a system failed. It's like someone controls that system, that lighting system, which tells you when to go.
Looked like he didn't even put his wheel gun up to signal
Yeah.
it. He should have done the tyre, but as you can see, the tyre was still
Because-
left on the car.
Yeah, because he couldn't get it off, and that's why he stepped in front of the wheel and tried to get it off. But actually, someone like pushed the button or controlled that lighting system to green, and yeah, the problem happened and the injury.
So we're just on the onboard camera of Noack. Got Cliffy in front of him, his teammate, but the spray that's coming off of Cliffy will cause a bit of an issue for some of the drivers behind, so it definitely is in pole position. Maybe some of the drivers kind of mistimed that with their early retirements from the session.
Yeah, now seeing that there is that much of a downpour, I can see why, like Noack or Josh or even Techno Honeybadger couldn't get into like the 33, below 33s, like 2 or 1, because maybe they are they've set their car up to wet race.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Yeah, so there you go. That's why we have you on comms. We have the driver's man here on comms with us, who gives us all the insight that maybe me or you wouldn't know. So yeah, that is such a good point, that they put up their aero knowing that the race is just going to be torrential rain, and it gives them a little bit of the edge in the race.
Yeah, because we didn't know that it would be this. So what they knew, and yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now. Because yeah, Cliffy did an absolutely awesome job to put it on pole, but I expected Noack or the championship leader Josh to be closer.
So we'll wait the lights. It's 2 red lights, 3 red lights, 4 red lights, 5 red lights, and the Russian Grand Prix gets underway for Speed Force Racing Premier Division. Let's see what's happening up front. A lot of people getting a decent start.
Good start by Noack. Oh yeah, he took the lead immediately, and someone
a big incident at the back. Both McLarens, it looks like. Is it McLaren's? It isn't.
Oh my goodness, look at that. It's like, how many is that? Absolutely huge crash.
Look at that, the carnage there. S. Graham, Jamie Finns and TJ Honest all wiped out of the race.
Oh, and a huge battle for the lead.
Gamey is actually still going on, so we'll go back to the front of the race. We've got Noack, SFR, Josh Fletcher, Cliffy, Techno Thriller and Humbug all in this epic battle up front. Looks like their rain is not putting their race plans in any danger. They're going straight for it like it would be a dry race. Look at that, brilliant driving from all 5 involved.
Yeah, and the spray is really kicking in for Josh, Techno, Cliffy, so it will be pretty hard to follow.
So after an amazing start where there was quite a lot of carnage, only 2 cars go out. Gaming Things keeping his car running, but able to get probably to the pit for some repairs.
And tell you what, Honeybadger has lost a part of his front wing.
It's not going any better for Honeybadger. One day he will get a clean race.
Yeah, awesome race for the lead. Look at that, 5 drivers within 2 seconds.
So it just shows you that these guys are at the top of their game, handling these conditions very well. And 2 little battles. We've got a battle of 3 and 2. Noack, SFR, Josh Fletcher.
I think
giving it all
Josh will get him. Or maybe he will go for the move or something.
On board
He's
with
a bit
SFR,
far.
Josh Fletcher. He's going to have a little look at Noack.
No, he he backed off. It had another better exit. Actually, Novak is defending. And Josh is trying to go around the outside. Couldn't make it work.
Cliffy is having a
and he
look
ran
at Techno Thriller. Cliffy is trying to get all over the back of Techno. That's going to be a huge concern from Techno. And with SFR, Josh Fletcher running a little bit wide. He's putting 6/10 of a second behind Novak now.
Yeah, and a lot of drivers in the pit. Smelly, Maze, Jade, Lee, Uzi, Ped, and also Honey Badger. And maybe I think Lord JB, and that was a carnage. That was carnage.
There was a lot of cars. I saw one McLaren going and into the wall, so that would have been SFR Lee now. Driver of the day last week, he's got a battle on his hand this week. But look at the top four, Cliffy, Techno, SFR, just Noah, just no care in the world. They're trying to get their position taken.
Oh, Cliffy.
Cliffy is
overtaken the champion.
Going very wide there, nearly hitting the wall, so he kept out the wall very well.
Okay, so he made a mistake.
He did, and it let Cliffy right through.
Yeah, and a huge battle for the lead.
Cliffy stalking SFR, Josh Fletcher. They're going to go around the line. There will be no DRS just because of the conditions. Look at this. Brilliant drive from Cliffy on the exit of the last corner. He's got SFR, Josh Fletcher all over him. He's going to take him now. But I reckon first corner he's going to take Josh Fletcher.
Fletcher is defending, but now you can go slow and fast out. And it seems like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It seems like that maybe Cliffy's wet setup is working the best out of the top three, because he's finding pace, and yeah, soon you're gonna get Josh, I think. And also remember,
he's lining up, he's making a move, he's making a move on
nice
SFR,
move.
Josh Fletcher, Cliffy getting nicely round Josh there, and it's allowed to close up a little bit more to Josh.
Yeah, and also remember, it's a wet track, so the grippy part of the track won't actually be the parts when you're racing on in dry conditions. Actually, it's the not gripped parts are grippier because of the weather.
As we can see, a few warnings popping up on screen. The track limits our drivers out. It's actually worse when the track is wet. You cannot see the markings leading up to any corners, so it's very tricky for these drivers to try and keep it in control and not get any penalties.
And also another thing, if Cliffy wants to help Novak, I don't know if they talked about it. He can be a backup for Novak. Well, it's early days, so Cliffy can definitely get into the championship fight if he puts up performances like this every week. But if he wants to help Novak, then he can definitely help him, because he's in second place. He can gain and steal a lot of points from Josh, and meanwhile he's keeping Josh behind him and letting Novak away. But if he wants to win this race, and why not, then he can make both championship leaders get into trouble.
So we are on the onboard camera, T-cam of SFR Lee now as Honey Badger gets the fastest lap of the race, 151.4. Peds has gone wide, allowing SFR Lee now into 12th position, but Peds is going to try and chase him down, going down the start-finish straight. He's going to get a nice toe off him, but it's going to get an awful lot of spray and an awful lot of disturbance off Lee's car. Let's see what he can do going into turn one. He's trying to
and it seems like Cliffy is gaining time on Novak. Nice job, really nice job from him.
Cliffy with a decent display and have a look at this little battle, see how it's unfolding at the front. So Noak caused 1.2 seconds in front of Cliffy, but Cliffy has now gained a half a second on him. So is Noak under pressure from his new teammate? This is a formidable team for the constructors, but these two will fight out, and you will have obviously Josh Fletcher, Techno, Humbug, and many more into the battle during the season for the Drivers' Championship.
Also, we've been talking about this a lot this season, that SFR has never seen a 1-2 from a team, and now with Cliffy and Novak, this might happen for the first time.
Yeah, that could be it. Could be on the cards. Our first one too. It's taken over a season so far, but could it happen today? Let's see what these guys can do. Heads is out of the session. We will go and have a look what's happened. It looks like he just pulled over and retired, so we will see what's happened after the race with that drive. Let's go back to the action with Cliffy chasing down Noah. Half a second between them now. They've dropped Josh Fletcher.
In the pits again, lost another part of his phone. His second pit stop.
So his second pit stop, so everyone from 9th onwards, apart from the cars that are DNF, have all had one pit stop, with Honey Badger doing his second. Mays getting a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. It's not going to help either. So they're both pitting. Mays and Honey Badger both in the pits. Second pit stop for both drivers. It's allowing Jade and Honey Badger to gain some positions there. Going on with the T-cam of Cliffy.
4/10 away.
He's getting closer, isn't he, Peter?
Sorry?
He's getting much closer to him now.
Yes, he's not giving up on winning this race after taking pole position, but then he had a bad start and has fallen back to, what was it, P4 I believe, but managed to cut through the leaders, and actually he's now attacking the race leader Novak.
So the biggest gainer is Racing Pod, gained 10 positions. Oh sorry, Blood and Sand 11. Can't forget that. Blood and Sand 11 position changes from the start of his race. Racing Pod on 10. So decent battle for them. They were lucky to escape from the little carnage at the start of the race. So 9 down to the end of the field, all pitting due to that carnage. But Cliffy is getting extremely close now.
And what happened to Fletcher?
Oh, he's off there. He's got Techno Thriller now chasing him down. He's 3/10 of a second behind him. So Josh has made a mistake there. That's put him 7.2 seconds behind Cliffy. Cliffy is having a look at Noah. Some 2/10 of a second between them. They're very, very close now. Noah under pressure like he's never been before so early on in the race.
Yeah, and these conditions are really helping Cliffy, I think.
Is this the race where we've seen Noah maybe crumble under the pressure?
Yeah, and also you can see Cliffy was quickest in dry conditions, and now he's quickest in the wet conditions, so maybe a contender, another contender for this year's title.
There we go, so we're just racking up drivers that are contending for the Drivers' Championship this season, so it makes it interesting for everyone watching. It also gives
nice exit and a nice racecraft, because he didn't go for a risky move. I think he wants to overtake Novak nice and cleanly, maybe into turn 2.
So yeah, he's following his teammate very closely down the final part of the track, going down the start-finish straight now. Long old straight, a lot of spray coming off Noak's car. Let's see what Cliffy can do. He's having a little look offline, just see if he can maybe see if he's any closer to try and make a move on Noak. Looks like he's following him around for another few corners yet.
It's still pretty hard to follow these cars, yes. And it's just even worse in online lobbies. And now, what a run through turn 3 by Cliffy. Awesome. I think he's quicker now than Novak at the moment.
He seems to get close, and then Novak seems to pull away a little bit on the the faster parts of the track.
Yeah, maybe it's due to setup, because maybe Nork is running lower rings, which allows Cliffy to get closer in the tricky part of this track, because yeah, you need a lot of downforce throughout the middle sector, and also throughout the last sector, and also throughout the first sector, but you need some speed as well.
It's kind of a bit like it's a bit like Spa, where you have to decide one way or the other. Do you want to go for a higher aero or lower to benefit from the straights? And that's what you got to decide on, like sector 1 especially. Do you go for the straight line speed, or do you go for the cornering speed?
Yeah, I agree with you, and the challenge is to find the perfect balance, to be quick in the straights and also to be quick in the corners.
So I think Cliffy's best chance is going to be in turn 1, because he follows Noah all around the lap. After that, he just seems to never recover that gap that he built up through the lap.
But yeah, you can see Novak is 4 or 5 tenths away after the final corner, when we get into the actual first corner. So he pulls away, but you can see here into turn number 3, he's closing, and then again he's closing and closing. So I would make my move into one of these corners where you have space, and also you are quicker. You are a lot quicker than the guy in front of you.
Could the pitch first, since they're in the first team, could that decide the race?
Yeah, it could. It could. But we don't know anything about the weather. Will it dry up, or will it be the same?
Yeah, exactly that. Techno Thriller is 8 tenths of a second behind SFR Josh Fletcher. Humbucker further 4.7 seconds behind. So Josh seems to be gaining a bit of time on Cliffy, about 7 tenths of a second, but it's kind of levelled out at 6.5 seconds. I think he's trying to deal with the oncoming threat of Techno Thriller.
Yeah, and since that mistake by Josh, I think it was a mistake, because he's some 7 seconds away from these guys, the lead. So since that mistake, he's gaining on Cliffy and on Novak, and I think it's because Cliffy is being held up by Novak a bit. Not too much, just a little bit.
So again, Cliffy gets within a couple of tenths of a second, but Noak still doing a defensive game plan.
Look at this corner, how quick he will get compared to Novak.
He has to lift a little bit. He had a bit of understeer, sliding a bit to the right of the corner, but I think Noak is
now
actually holding up a bit. That's his right to do. He's leading the race.
Yeah, I remember to Japan, when Novak was in the opposite situation. He was chasing me down on a set of better tires, and yeah, I would definitely like to be the chaser.
Is it just better because you can just concentrate on going as fast as you can, where if you're defending, you've got to actually kind of second guess any attempt that driver's going to make to try and get past you?
Yeah, and if you have to defend, then you are slower than the guy behind you.
Yeah, that is exactly right. Cliffy still stuck behind Noah.
I'm not talking about a commonplace, just on actual things. Like, it's not like okay, if once in the world I have to defend against someone that is always quicker than me. I'm just talking about the moment. But you get it, I think.
Definitely. Just as we speak, we've seen Jade Rios all over the back of Smithy Badger. Jade also got a teammate, Gamey Kings, behind the India is chasing down Smelly Badger. He's going to be
And now
attacked.
Cliffy is closer. Cliffy is, I think, a tenth closer to Nurmagomedov a lap earlier.
So yes,
And yeah, he's
Cliffy
gaining, he's
is
gaining.
quite a bit. He's going to try and make a move. He's not. It looks like he's just trying to figure out where Nowak is going in certain corners.
Now he has a bit of a chance. Yeah, and he's making his move. And Novak can hold it around the outside. Leaves him the space. And Josh with a penalty.
So Nowak and
now around the
it's a
outside.
great race.
Oh yes, absolutely awesome race between the teammates. And clean race, and I think this time he'll get him, but Novak can fight back. Although he's around the outside, but he's quicker in the straights. Look at this. Nice defense and nice offense. What a battle.
Cliffy's tried to make a move. Looks like Nowak went a little bit deep into the corner. Nowak's still defending hard. Cliffy's
think
just
he got
edging
it.
it at the moment. Cliffy's done the move. He's made the move now. So he can build a little bit of a gap towards Nowak, but it's only literally going to be a couple of attempts per lap at the rate they were going at on previous laps.
You look at it already. 6 tenths.
Wow, Cliffy having a great race to pole in his first race for Speed Force Racing, and now he's just made a move on Nowak. Move.
Nice, that was an awesome battle. I really liked it.
Gamey has made a move on his teammate Jade, so Gamey things up to 13th. They've dropped back from Smelly Badger, so we'll go and check on Blood and Sand to see what he's up to. He's about 19th of second behind Racing Podge. Racing Podge having a decent race, had a few blim say that, and he concedes the position to Blood and Sand, so we'll leave Racing Podge alone because that obviously cost him a position there. We'll go back with
Cliffy
Techno
made an
Thriller.
absolutely awesome move. I'm still amazed, sorry.
No, it was brilliant driving by both drivers, but Cliffy just having that extra little bit to his attack there, and he managed to get past Nowak, but it looked like he kind of studied Nowak for a few laps.
Yeah, and that was a professional move. Like he was not forcing it, and that's what really separates a good driver from a great driver. Stay calm in big situations, and yeah, that can make you world champion.
That is so true. We've got a little battle going on between Blood and Sand, Racing Podge, both teammates, and also Lord JB in the Haas. So Lord JB has pitted once, all up from 8th to 1st have not pitted yet. So let's see what Lord JB and Racing Podge, Blood and Sand can give us as we enter the first third of the race.
And Jade is in for Intus.
Oh, it looks like the rain's a little bit heavier as well, so that's quite interesting.
Yes, and yeah, that was a surprise for me, because I don't think the Intus are the correct tires to be on.
I want to watch Jade come out of the pit, so we'll go just check on Jade. Let's see if she's on the right tyre. She's slippy and sliding around the track, and
Yeah, this will be interesting. Yeah, he's sliding all over the place.
Lord JB getting past Racing Podge trying to come back at the Haas driver. Lord JB trying to put some great defensive drive on there. Takes a bit too much in the corner there, but it puts Racing Podge all over the back of him. We'll go on board with the T-Cam of Racing
Nowak.
Podge.
Look at this, Nowak with a 3-second penalty.
So it just shows you Nowak is trying to push hard to try and close that gap to Cliffy. But as we see, Racing Podge is trying to get past Lord JB. Lord JB will be also trying to catch down Blood and Sand. So Lord JB separating a Red Bull sandwich So let's see if he can crack on and try and get some more positions under his belt with Techno Thriller just behind SFR Josh Fletcher getting the gap between him and Noah to under 5 seconds now, so looks like Josh is trying to catch up as well, so maybe the weather is clearing, but we'll go and just see maybe if we can get a lap time from Jade on a second lap on the Inters, maybe in about 2 minutes time. Peter, if you could supply us with that data, and let's see if she made the right choice to
yeah,
pit
Techno
early.
is in the pits, so that's interesting for me, because Techno is Techno can make the undercut on Josh, and Techno is in for the wet tires, so maybe Jade's decision wasn't the best, to say the least.
Yeah, I think she maybe jumped the gun. She is struggling at the back of the grid, so she tried something different, which we commend her for, because doing something different is probably the only way someone can get a decent result out of a race like this after the terrible start that happened to the race with so many drivers colliding.
Yeah, but she's sliding all over the place, so I don't think that was the way to go.
We are on board with Blue JB. He's chasing down Bloody Sand very fast. 3/10 of a second separated, going down the start-finish straight. Going up to a heavy braking now. Let's see who's going to brake latest. They both brake at the same time, keeping that gap to about 3/4 of a second. Uzi is pitting now. He's on the wet tyre, so we assume he's going to stick with the wet. It looks like Jade may have just jumped a little bit too early to go onto the Inters. The conditions on the track are still quite terrible.
Maybe the conditions will improve, but for me, it doesn't seem like it's improving at the moment.
Definitely not. We're still sticking with the Lord JB Blood and Sand battle. 3/10 of a second between them. Lord JB having a little look there at Blood. Blood keeping that position, but Lord JB is all over the back of it.
And Lord JB, an awesome driver. Remember getting a podium in his debut race?
Yeah, he started well, and he's a solid driver
And JD's
in the wet.
out to the walls.
So that just shows you the Inters just weren't any help for Jade. Unlucky to her, but Humbug has pitted as well. So out of top 8, I think Humbug
And for what
and Techno
tyres?
have pitted.
Because right now it seems like it's improving just a bit, but Humbug is coming in for
Lord
wet
JB
tyres.
had a little bit of an incident there. It's put him about a second behind Blood and Sand there. So I don't know if he just had a little bit of a messy exit on corner and just put power bit down too early and caused him to have a little bit
Blood
of a
said is
slide.
coming in.
Lord JB will
He's coming
continue.
in.
So Lord JB gets that position off Blood and Sand due to the pit stop. So let's go and have a look at SFR Lee now, last week's driver of the day. He's in 10th place. I think he had a big off at the start of the race. SFR chopping
Yeah.
the second time penalty for multiple warnings. That would be for track limits, as we said before.
Yeah, literally
Tough.
half of the grid was included in that huge pile-up.
It's always the way you concentrate on the top of the field, looking for a decent pass at turn 1, and in the back of the field, it's madness and we miss it.
Yeah, someone just ran into the wall, I don't know, I think it was a Williams, and yeah, just ran into the wall and yeah, rebounded off it and caused mayhem.
Uzi is also pitting. Maze is having a difficult drive this week in the rain. The rain probably not his friend.
Oh,
Uzi
Uzi.
has retired in the pit lane, so his race is done for this week.
And now, if I was Josh, yeah, he's making the move. So, Techno or Josh, who will be further up after the pits? Because Josh reacted to that pit stop a little bit early, I think, a little bit late, I think.
Techno is going around the final corner to start his next lap.
That's what I'm
Josh is
talking
in the
about.
pit, so this is going to be quite interesting. Will Techno get out in front of SFR? Josh Butcher, he's passed
Yes,
him.
he will.
He's done it. Josh maybe left that a little bit too late. Last year's champion, well, current champion, is in 3rd place now. So it's not going the way Josh would have wanted. He maybe have left that a little bit too late.
Yeah, and remember Josh has a 3-second time penalty, as well as Novak. So... Ooh, and who was that? I think that was a Renault.
Was Uzi's car crashing out?
I don't know. Was it? It was into turn 3, standing like in a weird position.
So Smelly Badger is also on the back of May, so a lot of moves trying to be done in this weather, but a lot of drivers struggling to get past. It's quite a tough track to pass on anyway, but with the added rain, it's just making it extra tough.
Novak has just hit the wall. He's okay, but he touched the wall. And yeah, badly. And now Novak has set a 1:52.1, while I think Techno will do a 1:50, which means if Techno continues on with the same speed he's having for like 2 more laps, and if Novak is not reacting, then Techno can get him. Like, look at this time, I'm on 50.2, and that's a purple lap.
So when would Cliffy or Noah go and pit? It's going to have to be soon, because I'm assuming tyre wear will be quite high for him at the moment.
Maybe they know something about the weather, and they're waiting for an opportunity to come for the Inters, or maybe they're not even coming in, because you can do that in wet conditions.
So Racing Podge is in 10th position, chasing down SFR Lee now, and narrowly misses hitting the metal barrier there, which has allowed Gaming Things to close up to within 9/10 of a second. So it looks like Gaming Things is still trying to have a little late charge in his race, trying to get into the points, and every driver needs points out of their race. So let's see what's going to unfold. Racing Podge within a second now of SFR Lee now as well. Going to give it a quick rundown. We got first is Cliffy, second Noah. Both have not stopped yet. Techno Thriller is 24.5 seconds behind Noah. SFR Josh Fletcher 4th, 5th Humbug. SFR Chopper is 6th, 7th Lord JB, 8th Bloody Sun and 9th is SFR Lee now. Racing Podge is 10th and Gaming Things 11th. Maze is 12th, 13th Smelly Badger, and I think that is out of all the runners. 14 onwards have DNF from the race.
And Novak is still going on. Maybe they are trying to really do a non-stop race.
Or Racing Podge has had an off, and it's cost him quite a few positions there. Maybe outbraked himself a little bit going into a quite tame corner, so not the best of driving there. 150.1, so Techno is lighting up the timing screens. How long is a pit stop at this track, do you know, roughly?
Well, it depends on the entering speed and the exit speed, so it's like plus minus 2 seconds to the addition for an additional time, and I think it's around 22 seconds.
So Techno,
maybe
if Techno carries on at this pace, he may be able to jump Novak.
Yeah, Novak has a 3-second time penalty.
So yeah, will he serve that at the pit stop?
No, he cannot. You can only serve a 5-second penalty or higher.
So under 24 seconds between Techno Thriller and Noak. So Noak is under a little bit of a threat of Techno jumping in when Noak pits for his next set of tyres.
I think Techno is in Novak's pit window, even though the telemetry doesn't say he is in that pit window, but I think he is. Yeah. And Novak is still continuing on.
So Noak going to try and attempt a no-stop race?
Well, he can.
Is that possible?
It is possible, but I think they are definitely looking for a change for the intermediate tires.
It looks like the rain has gotten a little bit lighter, but it's still quite wet on track. And I'm assuming that if Techno and Josh pitted for the wets, then maybe there maybe isn't going to be a time to put the inters on, and maybe Noah and maybe Cliffy are kind of risking it a little bit, staying out.
You remember Novak risking, just like last week in Bahrain, he risked a lot, I think.
I'd like to apologise. I thought Jade had DNF the race. She's still going in 14th, so still giving it all her best.
Yeah, she just collided with the wall, and yeah, she came in immediately and changed the intermediate tires to wet tires, because I think she believed that, yeah, it's not worth it.
So Techno Thriller is under the 23-second window. When will Noah pit? He's going to pit probably, I'd say he's going to have to either do it this lap or next lap.
Now, this time Jade is out. And
as soon as I say something, it happens. Oh, she's lost the wheel.
Yeah, I can say that you jinxed it this time.
Yeah, definitely. So 22.4 seconds, Techno Thriller is behind Noah. Will Noah pit, and when will he pit? Is it going to be, maybe it's a little bit of a mental game with his teammate Cliffy, who's going to pit first?
Well, right now Novak is risking a potential second place, I think, because when he will...
If carried on again.
Yeah, but if he comes into the pits, if he would have come into the pits earlier, then he will be in second place still, and will be quicker than Techno on fresh tires. But now, maybe if he comes in, then Techno will overtake him, like he set the fastest lap again, and now he is just 22 seconds behind him.
Is it fair to say we could be leaning towards maybe the top two doing no pit stops at all?
Yeah, right now I'm still aware that they are looking to do a switch to intermediates.
The track's not looking that great though for inters, and there's only there's less than 10 laps to go.
Yeah, but yeah, it's less than 10 laps to go, so why would you pit? Would you rather come in if you were Cliffy or Novak?
I would probably stay out and stick it out.
Yeah.
There's 21.6 seconds and there's what, 8 laps to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I would stay out as well. And yeah, try to make something happen, because yeah, Cliffy is just leading with 6 seconds or more, and I think Novak is risking more than Cliffy, because if Cliffy crashes out or if he gets a puncture, then fine, he's not losing a lot because he's not in the championship fight as of yet. But Novak is in the fight, and he really is in the fight, because now he can gain a lot of time on Josh, who is in 4th place, and Novak is 2nd.
We're on the board camera of Cliffy, and I'm just watching the way he drives. He drives so smoothly, going into turn 1, 2 and 3. It just shows that he's an exceptional driver, especially with
Talent,
conditions being
yeah,
like this.
that's what talent does.
Right, Peter, I'll ask you again about the question of the day. So, what year did the first Russian F1 driver enter F1? For his first ever race, what year was it?
I would say it was 2010, and it was Vitaly Petrov.
Correct.
So fine.
What was his best position? Do you know that?
Maybe, yeah, he was on the podium, but I'm not sure about.
Petrov was never on the podium.
Second.
Petrov only got his best finish was 5th. It was Kvyat
Really?
who got 2 podiums.
Yeah, I know he got, but Petrov wasn't on the podium.
No, best finish was 5th in Hungary in his debut year.
I really thought he was on the podium. Well, that's good to know.
So
Good to know,
Techno, 20.4 seconds. If Noak and Cliffy stay out, it looks like they may have sewn up the top two positions.
Yeah, and that will be a 1-2.
And the rain is still quite heavy, so it looks like they're going to go for a zero-stop race. So maybe the other guys just ate their tyres a little bit too quickly. We will never know. We will find out afterwards in the drivers' interviews with the eventual top three.
And Josh is having quite a bad race, I think. He's struggling a lot this race, and yeah, these things can happen with everyone. I know, but it's a bit of a surprise for me because he was on fire during the first 3 races, and he's 75th in the global leaderboard. So that's a surprise for me.
Maybe it's just due to the wet weather, because
Yeah.
obviously with time trial most drivers just do it on the dry, and the wet, most people do practice just for a dry race as well, which is quite weird because the way the races are going on the game, there seems to be more wet races than dry currently, especially last season for us. We had so many wet races.
Yeah, I think we had like 7 or 8 wet races.
Just unbelievable bad luck. But
Yeah, I think
10-second time penalties
Fletcher-
for gamey things.
Yeah, Fletcher also got another 3-second time penalty, so I think he can book himself this 4th place now.
He's going to have to keep it under control because Hamburg is within a few seconds
14.
after them penalties. So it's what, 8 seconds after the penalty
Yes.
taken into account. So Josh has to
8
keep
or
it nice and clean.
maybe 9. Yes, he needs to.
So Techno Thriller doing an amazing job to try and get the lap time, the time difference down to Noak, but looks like Noak and Cliffy are not going to stop. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how tyre wear will be at the final couple of laps. Is there a chance of a puncture?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I think they are still risking a puncture.
So there's quite a lot of pressure on them two drivers, seeing if the zero stop strategy is the correct one. Everyone else pitting at least once. Techno's doing.
Josh.
Oh, look at that fastest lap for SFR. Josh Fletcher 1:49.9. So
Yeah,
he's still in it.
I just said that he's struggling, and then he pops in a 1:49.
So it just maybe looks like he may have just been maybe just lost it. Maybe at the start of the race, probably didn't get the best of starts that he wanted. He was involved with a 5-way battle at the start, and it maybe just cost him a bit too much on his tyres, which maybe resulted in taking that early pit stop.
Yeah, this definitely could happen with anyone, I think, and I wouldn't blame him, because if you're in a 5-way battle for the lead, then why not go for it?
Well, that's it. You've got to try and make the most out of your races, especially when it's chucking it down. There's always a chance to grab a few positions at the start, as Blood and Sand did, gained 11 from the start. So it just shows you it can be done no matter what the conditions.
And also you can just lose concentration, which can just happen to you. Like I had a race in the USA last year where I was just cutting corners because I was not completely settled in my head, and then I just couldn't put it together.
Well, yeah, that's a huge factor, is mental tiredness, because we do start our races later, and of course the drivers are from different countries. As you're an hour in front of us, so sometimes it is quite late into the night, so a lot of drivers will suffer from that. It's just unfortunate that that the race at some tracks, when it rains, it just takes extra long, especially around Singapore. If it rains around there, it's like 2 minutes, over 2 minutes a lap. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Singapore is horrible in the rain. Because also in dry conditions, it's so long.
It's
And,
a horrible track. I don't personally like it.
I think it's challenging. It's like Monaco almost, but it's a lot quicker.
That's true. Yeah, you do get better.
There is a lot of difference, I think. Yeah, I think there is a lot of difference between Singapore and Monaco. First of all, the floodlights, because you're racing under dark skies in Singapore, and yeah, if you're racing in the wet in Singapore, then the lights can strap you and interrupt and everything.
True. In Baku, when you go through the old section of the town, when you go at the slow uphill left-right, the sun can come through there and make you crash into the barrier quite a lot.
Yeah, it's horrible. Like the sun is just on the perfect position. It's in the perfect position to kill your eyes, lap after lap after lap.
So as we go to the final few laps of the race, Techno Thrill in third place, made a pit stop, is 16 seconds behind Nowak, and Nowak and Cliffy will not be pitting. It looks like they've done a solid race. Track is still very wet, so they're going to finish the race off. Formation fly in first for Cliffy, second for Nowak. It's just about keeping them last few laps clean and tidy, not knocking anything off and ending your race in complete disaster.
Yeah, I think the patches, like we were talking about the new patches of the game, which was not mentioned in the broadcast, so it was earlier, but we talked about it, and I definitely think that due to these patches, the tire wear and stuff like that became a lot better. Like when the game first dropped out in August, I think no one would make this race without a stop.
Yeah, I understand, yeah. They did that with last year's game as well. I think Australia was a free stop at the start of the game and then it dropped down to a two-stop race.
Yeah, and if you were really good, you could do it. You could do only a one stop.
Which I'm assuming you did. Oh, 5 second stop, go penalty.
Well, if you add all that together, then I think he has 6 plus 5, that's 11.
It's going to be quite close.
But Techno is 16 seconds away.
He's going to have to pump some good laps in and hope Nowak does get some additional penalties. He's done well to close him down at the rate of speed that he has done. But I don't expect anyone thought that Nowak and Cliffy would be doing no stops in the race.
Yeah, that was a surprise for me too.
Would you ever have considered that? Would you have ever thought, no, I'm not pitting?
No, never. Well, on this track, never. But it shows that there are a lot of different drivers who can do a lot of different stuff, and they can do it really good. Just like Cliffy and Nowak, they are doing this race without a stop so far, and if everything goes well for them, that's a 1-2, and that's a non-stop 1-2.
And of course, they're on 50 points in the constructors, so they're going to clean up, get some decent points as well.
43 points, and considering Josh is only 4th and Lee is only scoring 2 points, then that's a big hit for the championship leaders.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be quite close come the end of the race in the constructors table. As ever, go to www.facebook.com/SpeedForceRacingPS4. You'll get all the latest news, updated tables, and any decisions handed out by the stewards, which will be relayed in the results post. But as we enter lap 26 out of 27, we've got Cliffy leading his teammate Nowak by 8 seconds. Did we ever expect to see Nowak getting left behind this bad?
No, I've never experienced it. Well, in his first race in the Classics, the first race, the first official race of the Classic Series last season, that was the last time when I saw him. Oh, and Techno has just left the session.
Has he
What happened?
disconnected?
Yes,
It
he
looks like
has.
he's disconnected, so that promotes SFR Josh Fletcher up to 3rd place. That is a gift for Josh. 2 laps to go, less than 2 laps to go. Techno Thriller has just, it looks like a possible technical issue.
Oh, and Josh just lost every grip, and yeah, Techno is back.
He's back in control of his car, so he's got Josh chasing him down now. Lord Jaber getting a 3-second time penalty. He's a long way ahead of Blood and Sand, so that will not bother the driver.
Yeah, but Techno cannot get into his car.
Can you not rejoin?
He rejoined, but I don't think he knows how to get back into his car.
Oh no, yep, Josh is gaining on the ghosting car of Techno Thriller. Techno Thriller having a big bout of bad luck there. Imagine going 26 laps into a 27 lap race.
Now he's back.
Oh, he's done it. He's just done it in the nick of time. 1.6 seconds, but Josh has got a few time penalties. I'm not sure about Techno.
But now Nowak is safe.
Yeah, so we
He
are
lost 6 seconds.
So we will ride on board with Cliffy. Peter, would you like to take us through?
Yeah. And yeah, Cliffy, awesome job, mate. Awesome job. You just need to finish this lap and you will win your first Reforce Racing race, which is a huge accomplishment, I think, to beat Nowak, Techno, or Josh, or any other driver. But I think
with you, only you in it, because you got pole and you win on your first race, and looks like Cliffy's going to do it as well.
yeah, well, yeah. And also, Nowak has won his first race and got pole.
Oh, there we go. So yeah, 3 in the group. So yeah, Nowak, Cliffy, and of course yourself, but Cliffy doing an amazing job. First race.
Yeah.
Coming up to the final sector.
I think Cliffy definitely earned himself a name this evening.
Well, there was a load of talk about this driver coming into this race, that he's quick, but when you have the likes of Nowak, Techno, SFR, Josh Fletcher, it just shows you that he must be a talent to be 8.9 seconds in front of Nowak, one of the fastest drivers on the grid. So we're going to go around the final few corners with Cliffy in his race winning debut. There we go, approach the final corner, takes a nice bit of apex
Awesome,
there.
congrats.
Look at that brilliant exit, and for his first race win is Cliffy in the Mercedes AMG. Nice race win, and here we go, the first 1-2 in Speed Force history. Nowak completes the top 2. We wait for Techno Thriller. Had a little scare at the end. Finally managed to rejoin his car. Looks like he was slowing down a little bit. He's just probably teasing the SFR Josh Fletcher a little bit. He's going to go around the final corner to claim a 3rd position in the race, and Josh Fletcher coming around in 4th.
Yeah, Josh. Yeah, I think Josh lost that 3rd place in the pits where he reacted a little bit late, and then just couldn't catch up to Techno.
Humbug finishes in 5th position. SFR Chopper had an eventful race, comes home in 6th. We await Blood and Sand, one of the biggest gainers early on in the race, jumping 11 positions. A few difficult moments during the race, but Blood and Sand comes round to finish 7th when he crosses the line, with Lord JB 2.5 seconds behind him.
So, who is your driver of the day?
It has to be Cliffy.
Yes.
It has to be pole
Okay.
and a race win, and he
agree.
dominated Nowak.
Yeah, we can agree on that. But now comes the question, will Nowak, Techno, and Josh, or any other driver would be able to catch Cliffy in Catalonia next week? I think Barcelona will be a closer battle between the top four. What are your thoughts on this?
It's an interesting track because it's one of them. Some people like it, some people don't. But I think if Cliffy's this quick, it's going to be hard. But you know, you've got to count the rain in as one of the things that kind of upset the normal standard of our driver's speed. And I think if it's going to be dry in Spain, it's going to be quite an interesting race between Noak, Cliffy, and maybe SFR Josh Fletcher. But here we go as they cross the line. Cliffy first, second Noak, Techno Krilla third, SFR Josh Fletcher fourth, fifth is Humbug, SFR Chopper sixth, Blood and Sand seventh, Floor JB eighth, SFR Lino ninth, 10th is Gamey Things. So the top 10 there of the grid. Quite an interesting little race there. The rain was torrential at the start and caused quite a lot of issues for, I'd say, from about 8th position onwards further down the grid. So it'd be nice to see what happened there, but we will see if we can get the drivers in to do their driver interviews.
Yeah, I've invited them.
So we're just awaiting, Techno's entering the chat party.
Yeah, there you go.
Someone's going to have to turn the TV down. We will start interviews as soon as everyone can check the TVs are on mute. We're getting feedback. Okay, if every driver can hear me that's in the chat party, can you mute your TV? Okay guys, let's get this started. So, a great win by Cliffy in his debut pole and a win. How was your race, Cliffy?
A bit tense at the start, and you would have seen my start was quite poor. Got kind of swamped in turn one, so I knew I had to make up the places. And obviously, being new in the league, I didn't just want to chuck it down the inside and sort of cause a crash. I sort of took my time with every move that I'd done. But yeah, when I got in the lead, I knew I could go into a rhythm, and I did that and managed to pull away.
Was it always going to be a zero-stop race for you?
I was debating whether to stop on like that 14 or 15, but I knew that if the race is like all wet, and there's no dry period, then obviously I know I don't have to pit. So when I saw that Novak stayed out past that 15, I thought, well, he's obviously not pitting because he would have pitted to try and get an undercut on me. So at that point, I just thought I'll go to the end and risk it, and yeah, I managed to get to the end.
Brilliant. We'll come back to you in a minute. Noah, was it quite a change to have a driver be as quick as you and then obviously pull off away from you come the end of the race? Are you there, Noah?
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, mate.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, yeah, what can I really say? I mean, I've raced with Cliffy before, and yeah, I know he's a really quick guy. but like that doesn't, like, I don't know how to say it. It doesn't really damage me mentally or something. I like having a challenge, and I obviously knew he was very quick, and he'd be very quick in this race, even in wet conditions. I just really struggled with my setup, to be honest, but I don't take anything away from him. He drove a very good race, and he was just quick overall.
Were you ever going to make a pit stop, or was it you watching your teammate to see if he was going to jump first?
No, I wasn't going to make a pit stop. I think by the when we reached halfway point, he already had a small gap. So I don't think, especially in wet conditions, I would have caught up and made the undercut work. So I just tried staying out and saving my tires and hoping that he'd go for pit stop. If he didn't, so congrats.
Cheers. Techno, our current champion. How was your race? I know you had a little incident at the end where you disconnected, but you managed to reconnect just before Josh managed to get past you. So, how was your race in a nutshell?
It was difficult. I had to do something a little bit different and try the undercut, which luckily worked. If it didn't work, I didn't know that you could stay out without having to make a pit stop. I thought you had to make a mandatory pit stop. But other than that, I would say the pace between me and Fletcher was again so close that I just had to do something different.
So if you'd have known about that you could no stop in wet weather, you would have stayed out then?
Yeah, definitely. I think there was 20% tyre wear at lap 12 when I pitted. And so I think if I would have stayed out, there would have been less than 60% tyre wear, definitely.
Okay, brilliant. I'll hand over to Peter to see if he has any questions for the top three.
Yeah, one question for Cliffy. So yeah, my question is, after winning your first race and taking pole position, how would you prepare for Catalonia, Barcelona?
I don't know, sort of how I came into this race really. Sort of keep a clear mind, not really aim for much. My aim tonight was to just score points and, you know, try and have a good debut, obviously to get the win. It's obviously quite shocked. But yeah, I'm just going to go into Spain how I went into tonight, just clear mind and not really thinking about anything but getting points.
Yeah, thank you. And if you didn't know, you are the first team, Nowak and you, Cliffy, to do a 1-2 in SFR. So congrats, and also congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. You're free to leave. Great job. We will see you back next week. So as we await the drivers to leave the chat party, very interesting race, showing we have a high caliber drivers to give us such a brilliant battle at the start of the race.
Definitely.
So, it just shows you the
Awesome
league
battles.
is going in the right way, attracting quality drivers like that are sure to give our viewers many interesting moments over the season.
And I'm pretty excited now about Barcelona because we had pretty close battle for pole position. Like the first 6 guys was separated by 3/10. So yeah, that's what the viewers want to see, and that's what we want to see. And yeah, I think that's what the drivers want to see as well, to have competitive, clean racing. And yeah, the most important thing is to have fun and to be competitive.
Exactly. So on the night that a new driver came in and upset the current standings, where we had Nowak, Josh leading the way, it looks like Cliffy is one of the new drivers that will maybe put a decent challenge in for the Drivers' Championship. So for myself and Peter, we will see you next week for round 5 of the Premier Division. Is at Catalonia. So it should be an interesting race with the amount of talent that we've got. So for myself, Adam, it's good night, and I will hand over to Peter to sign off, but until next week.
Yeah, good night, and thank you for tonight. Thank you for having me. Have a nice night.